everyone, my name is Jen Redfield. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing something very different than any other Notion video I've ever created before, and that is a build with me video. Basically, I needed to make a change on my Notion account. I use Notion myself, as well as obviously selling all my templates and sharing all my videos with you guys. And I have been struggling lately with my CRM. I have set it up, and just this morning I was like, I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys how I go in and make changes using things like ChatGPT to help me, or just coming up with other ideas. I am going to be using real names because this is my actual CRM, so I might have to blur some things just because I'm like, this is actually people in my life. A lot of them probably don't care that their name is being on there. Obviously, it's just people in my contact list, a lot of clients and leads and stuff. So it's just people that I'm working with. So hopefully they're okay if I share their name, but that's it. I don't share anything else about them. But I wanted to walk through this because a lot of people just see the final product of Notion and they don't always see how I actually make changes. So I thought I would try that out today for the first time. Also, after this video is over, all the updates that I've done to my CRM will be live on my template as well, so you can download the latest version or buy it if you haven't. It's my ADHD Life Tracker Template, main template, and that's what a lot of these changes are part of. As a small business owner, I have a lot of incoming clients, and I like to use automations with things like Zapier. So Zapier is part of this automation. I use a software called Go High Level, or what it's like a sister company called FG Funnels. And when anyone ever books a call with me, it automatically gets sent to my Google Calendar, and then from Google Calendar, it goes straight into Notion. So there's a lot of different steps in the automations to kind of get things into Notion, but let's just get into my Notion so I can show you guys where I'm struggling and why I need to rebuild my entire Notion database for my CRM. So this is the updates I have so far. This might be a lot of information, but I had a separate Notion CRM, which also I started putting in all of my calls. And then what I realized is, oh no, I need a separate database for that. So I just added this new one called Networking and Call Log Database, which is a mix of the networking events I go to and the calls that I have with clients all in one. I used to have a separate networking event one, but now it makes sense to just have this be like my calendar within Notion of things I'm going to and people I'm talking to. So whether it's a call, a client meeting, that sort of thing, it's going to be in its own database. And then I actually have my entire, what I call like a Rolodex or my CRM, which is basically all the people. So that's more of a people account. I was putting them together and I realized that that was way too much. So I separated them. I'm still trying to figure out how to make my CRM work from a follow-up perspective. I think that's something a lot of us ADHDers or autistic people or people who are on the neurodivergent spectrum are like, wait, but I have all these things. How do I even prioritize? Now I came up with my multiple step prioritization, which you can see over here. But I feel like with a CRM, I need more nuance than that because there's a lot of different types of things that I'm following up with. For example, there's a, podcast recording, which is different than a client, which is different than a lead. So for me, I'm trying to figure out what the best way is to organize my entire thing. I've also set it up to have different, let me scroll down a little bit. So you can see here that I have different people, and I'm going to be blurring a lot of this. But basically I have a filter where this is my to-do list. So these are just people I need to follow up with. I also have board view. I have a bunch of different views. This is how we met, which I was updating. A lot of them have been updated, but it's just very overwhelming because I have a lot of people in my databases. So I also have them organized by this inner circle, which this has gotten out of sync a little bit, but basically I created the inner circle as an acronym for myself, which I think I still like, but it's hard to it's just, again, for me, it gets overwhelming. My main goal with my CRM is to have the people who are my clients and leads, and then other projects I'm working on. So when I go into my inner circle Rolodex, I'm trying to figure out, so I have my list of people. This is the last time that I have scheduled with them. You can see some of them don't have icons yet. I need to update those. I had created icons based off of priority. So if it was red, that means it was a high priority. However, I feel like I need another color. So what I'm going to do is if I get stuck and I'm trying to figure out what's a better option for my CRM, I'm going to go over to one of my favorite apps, which is ChatGPT. Now, I pay for ChatGPT Pro. I use it all the time. It is a huge time saver for me. It's a huge get unstucker machine for me. So I'm going to actually ask ChatGPT, and I'll explain to you guys how I do that because I haven't really showed that before. So let's head on over to ChatGPT where I will show you guys what happens when I'm stuck on a Notion problem. Let's head over over there right on now. So I'm going to start with a new prompt, and I usually like to voice text it. So I'll say, hey, ChatGPT, I am working on a Notion CRM right now, and I'm struggling because I feel like I need a better way for both my statuses as well as my types of people. Is there a way that I organize it with different tags, or how should I organize my CRM? I would love to do it in maybe a Kanban view, a little bit of a calendar view, but also have an easy way to find all the people who need follow-ups within the next week or so. Can you give me some ideas on how I would tag those? I have my status and priority levels, but I feel like I need something else. Could you walk me through this and what it could look like on my Notion board? So then basically I will ask ChatGPT that information, and ChatGPT hopefully will give me an answer. So let's see what ChatGPT has to say. I have not done this before, so I don't know what's doing it. So it helps my ADHD-friendly brain. So here we go. So we've got the title. So we've got the name, the status, which is what I already have. So this is type. So adding another status, which is type multi-select. I'm not going to add the priority because I already did that. And then maybe a follow-up. That's actually probably a good idea. Follow-up status shows up if the follow-up is overdue, due this week, etc. Last contacted, and then tags like warm lead, potential speaker. So one of the things I like to do is I actually like to relate it over to my main tags database. So I can add that in there. I do have a tags knowledge vault database that I link it to. I also link to my networking and events calendar. So last chat should be connected to that calendar. So this is what it recommends. So we got new lead, in conversation, follow-up needed, booked. I kind of like this. So maybe I switch to that and I add that in. Let's go. Oh, so there's a formula for follow-up status. That's actually really nice. I could add a formula for that, but I'm probably not going to because I still need to add all this up. So you can create different views. So Kanban by status, calendar follow-ups this week, overdue, and clients. So I actually just use filters for a lot of that stuff. So you can connect to people. Yes, that's what I'm doing. So maybe I'll just erase this because they don't need to know that. I like this idea here of new lead, in conversation, follow-up needed, booked client, long-term nurture, archived. I do like that. And it doesn't have to be an acronym. I'm a big acronym person, so everything in my life is an acronym, but in this situation, I feel like it's not. So let's go in. I'm going to copy these. Let's go back to Notion. So I will switch back to Notion. Let's see. Sorry, I got to switch back to you. So if I go to contacts, so basically I'm adding another level to this. So you can see I have a ton of different things already, which I'm going to show none of them. I'm going to hide all of them, and I'm going to add a new one called, what was it called? I got ChatGPT. It's just suggested status. So I'm going to call this type maybe. So this is going to be multi-select, and I'm going to call it type. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add those options, but instead of doing that, I'm going to just paste that. So we've got new lead. Then I'm going to paste that. I just do this every single time. Get rid of that number. So we've got in conversation. All right, let's go back. So let's get rid of that. Follow-up needed. And then we've got booked client. And then we've got long-term. Those are people that are like ones that you, I'm still trying to figure out what that one would be, because to me, archived is people that you've already worked with. But maybe long-term are more people that you come and go with. I'm not sure what that is needing, or maybe I don't need that one. That's the nice thing, is I could have just booked client and then archived. So this is an option here. So if I go into any of mine, I could go in. So if I type in leads, especially this year, so this one is follow-up needed. This one I would say is archived because I already worked with her, and that's actually not a lead. This is actually a client. So I actually ended up booking with her. Some of these are current, so they're booked. I'm going to put these all as booked, but they're ones that probably may use again. So then that's the other thing. So if I go back here and I filter them now instead of grouping them by date, I'm going to group them by, I'm going to do this one. So I have it currently filtered here, but I'm going to go here. So this is a client of mine, Karen Rebecca. I'm going to put that with the multi-select. I'm going to do that in, I would say, because I already worked with them, but I might work with them in the future. These are ones, that's where I'm struggling, is some of these are one-off clients. Some of these are leads versus clients. So even my status, this is not a priority now because it's something that I've already done. So that's where I'm at, is it priority? This is a lead, but it's not really a lead. It was a connection. So that's the other thing too that I struggle with all. This is someone I did a phone call with. That would maybe be business networking meeting. So maybe it's not even the same thing. This was somebody I worked with. So I'm going to go in. So that is a booked client. This is someone who I worked with was a client. So even though they're all in leads, these are all people that I've now worked with because they all book. So if I go into leads, all of these could be moved to clients. So I could just go here quickly, let you know. Some of these didn't book with me, and either it wasn't right or I did a call with them. And so I'm trying to figure out again, what do I do with those people? They're people that maybe it was just a networking call. It wasn't something, or they're a lead that didn't seem that interested. So I'm still trying to figure out how I want to interpret that. Is it someone that I should follow up with? Some of them, this one also is a client. I could even go further and be like, what kind of client are they? Did they book on my video calls? Did they do a clarity session with me? Is it like a Notion client? You could even add those tags. One thing I did add here is I added my tag. Let's see, where is that? Tag in business projects. So you could tag specifically, these could all be current leads. So these are all people I could just add to that. I could specifically add them to the project that they're working on. But for me, this is just almost too complicated, and I don't like that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to almost split my CRM. So the inner circle, as you can see, kind of stands for the following. I'm actually going to delete that. I'm also going to delete that. I'm just deleting everything that doesn't make sense. So you can see here that I have clients, collaborators, engagement, content. So this is like podcasts. So everything stands for inner circle. So that should spell out inner circle. It doesn't always stay. So if I go to oh no, don't remove. That's the other thing. Oh, it's sorted by contact. That's why. So if I go to, you can see how it says inner circle family. So N, let's move that up here. N, E, and then R, I think. And then I've got recharging activities. So I think personally, I have too many things here. I love the inner circle framework, but I think it's too many for me. So one of the things that I have learned about myself is sometimes I overcomplicate things. So I still love using ChatGPT for this. So there's a couple of these that I feel like are I don't need them. For example, the recharging activities, I don't need that. I can move those to something else. Collaborators and legacy connections could be potentially the same as relationships. I feel like I could probably narrow this down to 4 or less. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT. And it also now works with Notion. So if you click here, it is going to actually show up the page that you are working on. So it'll show up. So I'll say, so I have a framework called the Inner Circle that I created, and it has too many different levels. So each one has 5. So there's 10 total. The Inner Circle stands for Inner Circle Family, N, nurturing friendships, N, nurturing health, E, enhancing environment, R, relationships, and then circle is clients, involved leads, recharging activities, collaborators, legacy connections, and engagement content. So half of them are more personal, half of them are more professional. So that's why it's inner and circle. I like that word, but there's too many letters. I'm wondering if there's another way to separate that into 2 words, but where there's maybe 3 on each instead of 5, because I feel like right now I'm getting overwhelmed. Is there a 2-word that would be able to fit that, but combine some of them? So for example, collaborators and relationships could be combined, or legacy connections could be combined. I'm trying to create something that makes so much sense. And for me, I feel like right now, inner circle is just too long of a phrase and too many options. So I'm going to put that into ChatGPT. So let's go back to ChatGPT. I was just doing that off the side. So once I go to ChatGPT, you will see that is what I created here. I can't really see it. And now let's just have it go. So got it. It's a great phrase, but having 10 categories can feel overwhelming. So this is what they recommend. I like this a lot better. I like that. Ooh, these are good. I wanted to still have, so it's asking me questions. So it's just asking me, you could have a CRM dashboard with 2 tags and toggles. That's interesting. Okay, so this is my thoughts. I still want it to have 2 words that go together that would be an acronym for each of the 3 letters. So I feel like it needs to have a word that has 3 letters and another one that has 3 letters that makes sense, so that I can still remember which one it is. I'm a big acronym person and I love acronyms. Obviously, if it doesn't work, it's okay, but I'm just wondering if there's 2 3-letter words that could fit into 1 larger word that could work in this situation that also explains what is happening right now. Could you give me another idea for that? So let's see what happens. Maybe there is nothing. We'll see if there's anything good. If it's not good, I'm not going to do it. So let's tell ChatGPT to do that. So let's see. It's a fun agenda style challenge. 2 3-letter words that together create a 6-letter word. I don't know if I like that. They can be, I want it to be 3. So that's not exactly what I'm thinking. So it can be I want it to be a 2-word phrase. So a 3-letter word and a 3-letter word put together into a 2-word phrase, or something like inner circle, but with 3 letters. So it doesn't have to be 1 word. It has to be 2 words that make sense. And I want it to really fit with this. I like you win. All in. That's good. I like you win. You is yourself, family, and health. Win is, okay. So if you win, what would each letter represent? Because I want there to be 3 and 3, because that would make the most sense to me. So let's break it down. You yourself, that's personal wellness, outlook. But this has to do with people. So I don't want that. I'm thinking for each of these, and then I'm going to go up to the top and show you guys, because this is the ones that I want to have. Come up with the first letter of each. So this is how I create frameworks, is I do this. All right. So then what it does is, ooh, I like this. Your people, optimize wellness, uplifting spaces. Perfect. Then we've got win, working relationships, impact partners, noteworthy content. This is exactly what I'm looking for, you guys. This is how easy it can be done on ChatGPT. So this is now going to be my new framework. So if I go back, so let's go and copy that over here. So instead of inner circle family, that's going to be friends and family. So let's just move that here. So let's call that your people. So that's going to be friends as well. So you can see here, I have all my family. I'm not going to show that to you guys. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it here and then move my family here. So I'm going to call this family. I'm just going to block this for a second so you guys don't see all my family members' names. All right. So optimize wellness is going to be, okay, I'm just going back and double checking. And then the other one, I'm just renaming them. Uplifting spaces. I love that. So I'm going to put that under relationships. I'm going to put that under here. So I'm moving these over here. So I got my leads here. My collaborators are now called impact partners. So those are people here. So these are people I know who are local. So let's get rid of that one. So I'm going to be moving the relationships and the legacy connections together. So this is past clients. So I'm going to be moving that here. Perfect. And then this relationships one is noteworthy. So I got noteworthy content, which is going to be this one. So my relationships one, I'm going to be moving that into impact partners. So let's move that into here and then the rest of them. So you can see immediately this is much more clean because I have only 6 instead of 10. I have eliminated 4 different categories and consolidated. So now instead of inner circle, I'm going to call it you win. I did like the word inner circle. It was really good. However, if it's too many letters for me to remember, I kind of like this better. So that is kind of how I would make updates to this. Now, obviously, I can maybe even call them that here. I could have the different selections. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that over to the current people that I'm working with and then label them and then have different statuses for them. Because what I'm finding is that I just wanted to have a simpler inner circle CRM. And obviously I wanted to show you guys a little bit about how I send people there. So let's head over to my Zapier so I can show you guys another way that I do this. So one of my CRM options here is a Google Calendar to Notion. So now when anything gets added to my calendar, it automatically creates a Notion database item. So this is something I set up a couple months ago and I love it. So when anyone books with me on my FG Funnels account, which I actually don't use as a CRM, even though it is a CRM, I use Notion more, it will automatically add a database item. Now for a long time I was using my CRM and now I'm using this other database, which is the one you saw at the front, which is called Networking and Call Log Database. So now if you can see, anytime someone adds it, it just creates a new one. And you can use this with AI on Zapier. You can literally explain what you're trying to do. I highly recommend adding this Google Calendar to Notion. Zapier is free for, I believe, up to 5 zaps. So this is absolutely easy to do. Literally just add Google Calendar as the input and then Notion as the output. You individually select each thing and it's pretty easy once you do it, but it's like literally just exactly what you need. And then once you add a new event to your Google Calendar, it will automatically add it in Notion. You'll also see it in Notion Calendar, which I'll show you guys that because that might make the most sense. So let's see. So this was the one I showed you guys in my last video, which was on Notion Calendar. And you can see here that there's a bunch of different databases, but now I have my networking and call log here. I also have all of my ideas. So this one actually is going to be renamed You Win. So let's see if I can do that. Actually, what you could do is you can actually remove it and then add it again. So if I add the CRM, I wonder if it will update it. See, it has a different name now. So it's got the You Win Rolodex. So that is helpful for me to now have those people in here versus my networking and call log. So that's the actual action and event, but this is the actual people that are involved. So I usually have both the people and the event. So you can see here I have 3 of the same. It's because it's updating in all those 3 databases. So that's something that I can do as well. So I'm now going to cut to just showing you how it's organized now that I have updated my CRM with the new label, the new acronym, and this will obviously be updated in my Notion as well. I'll just show you guys, again, really all I'm doing is just adding a bunch of tags to people and I can show you guys what the final result looks like. So I finally figured this out. So basically my CRM is now booked/client. So these are upcoming clients that I'm working with right now. I've got new leads. These are people I need to follow up with. In conversation, it's not so much leads, but people I'm just talking to right now about certain projects. Follow-up needed, that's something that they need, I need to email them. Later is just everyone else. It's everyone else. I was like, I just need a category that's just like people that are in my CRM, but I'm not going to talk to, or I don't need to talk to right now. Because I really just need those 4 categories. And then NA is just not applicable. I put that for a lot of categories. There's no status needed. So this is actually going to be so helpful for me to know where people are in my entire CRM. And so also what's cool is I can just search someone's name. It doesn't filter out, so I can still find them and then quickly move them into one of these 4 categories, which for me, again, I'm putting some of these into to-do lists. I'm putting some of these on my calendar. I'm mixing it all together, but having this now as my CRM initial view, which I guess I could also put here on this page. So the first thing that you see when you come to my homepage, so instead of having this here and this here, I'm actually going to sort it now by, instead of statuses, I'm going to sort it by type. So now, obviously I'm going to change that around a little bit. So you can see here, you can change the visible groups. I'm going to move this once it comes in. So you go to layout board. So now I have it organized this way. You can also organize it by calendar. So I could switch and sort by calendar. When's the next time I'm going to see them? So you could do it that way. And obviously I need to update some of the calendars for some of these people, but that's really what you can do for a lot of this stuff. If someone pops into your head, you just they're in your CRM, you can just pop them over to either one of these 4. But I feel like this is a really good, easy way for me to remember what I need, who I need to follow up with, and it just keeps my CRM organized. It's also available on my Notion calendar. Okay, so I finally figured this out. So basically my CRM is now booked/client. So these are like upcoming clients that I'm working with right now. I've got new leads. These are people I need to follow up with. In conversation, it's not so much leads, but people I'm just talking to right now about certain projects. Follow-up needed, that's something that they need, I need to email them. Later is just everyone else. It's everyone else. I was like, I just need a category that's just people that are in my CRM, but I'm not going to talk to, or I don't need to talk to right now, because I really just need those 4 categories. And then NA is just not applicable. I put that for a lot of categories. There's no status needed. So this is actually going to be so helpful for me to know where people are in my entire CRM. And so also what's cool is I can just search someone's name. It doesn't like filter out, so I can still find them, and then quickly move them into one of these 4 categories, which for me, again, like I'm putting some of these into to-do lists. I'm putting some of these on my calendar. I'm mixing it all together, but having this now as my CRM like initial view, which I guess I could also put here on this page. So the first thing that you see when you come to my homepage, so instead of having this here and this here, I'm actually going to sort it now by, instead of statuses, I'm going to sort it by type. So now, obviously I'm going to change that around a little bit. So now I have it organized this way. You can also organize it by calendar. So I could switch and sort by calendar. Like when's the next time I'm going to see them. So you could do it that way. And obviously I need to update some of the calendars for some of these people, but that's really what you can do for a lot of this stuff. If someone pops into your head, you just they're in your CRM, you can just pop them over to either one of these 4. But I feel like this is a really good, easy way for me to remember who I need to follow up with, and it just kind of keeps my CRM organized. It's also available on my Notion calendar.